Well, firstly, thank you everyone for joining us on today's webinar, Not Enough Hours in a Day, where we will go through Codis Excelerator with Cormac McCarthy. Cormac has been with Codis for a couple of years now and is an expert on how Excel integrates with his system, which is the Codis Excelerator. As some of you may or may not know, I'm Grant from Brook Software. I'm guessing you all know Brook. If you don't know, because you're perhaps not subscribed to our blog or our news items, this year we were given the honour of being Sage's fastest growing partner in the UK and Ireland, and have now been awarded a gold partner status. So if you'd like, you can subscribe to our blog and our news items, and you'd be able to be kept informed of those kinds of things. Cormac will be taking us through, I'd say 99% of today's webinar. It'll be a live webinar, and he'll go through many things that I'm sure will be of interest to you. At the end of the webinar, we'd like to have a few questions. So we'd appreciate it if you kept a few questions in mind, and we'll open it up for everyone to perhaps ask those questions. So once again, thank you for joining us, and I'll hand over to Cormac McCarthy of Codis. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. As Grant said, my name is Cormac McCarthy. I work for Codis, and Codis has been a Sage partner for approximately 20 years now. And the founders of Codis were actually ex-Sage employees. And one of their major products is this Codis Excelerator, and it's the one that I'll be showing you today. Codis Excelerator has sold over 4,000 licenses, 4,400 I believe in the last count. And customers would include companies here in the UK. You'd have companies like RSPCA, Wagamama, and Domino Pizzas. There are others. In Ireland, customers would be NAMA or NTMA would be a customer of ours and use Excelerator. Kingspan would be a customer and use Excelerator. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through the actual Excelerator, and we'll break it down into three areas. I'm going to do a quick overview of Excelerator and the principles of Excelerator, and why we think it is so powerful, and how it integrates between Sage and Excel. And then I'm going to go through a series of worked examples, and hopefully those worked examples will explain how it can save you time in your daily duties. So what I'm using today is I'm using Sage 200 2015, the latest version of Sage 200. It does work on the earlier versions, Sage 200 2013, 2011, down I believe as far as 2007. It also, I'm using Excel 2013. I'm using the 32-bit version of Excel 2013, but it does work for 64-bit as well. It works for Excel 2000 and Office, from Office 2007, and it works on Office 365. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a quick journal here, a quick nominal journal. This is an Excel file I've opened. It's a template, and we will discuss these templates and explain how they work in a minute. What I'm just going to do is quickly put in a journal. And post it to Sage. I'm going to put it in as a Help journal because it's actually easier to see and check it out in Sage and interrogate what's happening in Sage from the Help journal. And I'm just going to put in a nominal code. Two nominal codes even, and balance my journal. When I go into Sage 200 at the moment and have a look in nominal ledger, enter transactions, and I go to the Help journals, there are two journals in there at the moment. Close that down. Back into Excel. Okay. Accelerator, the template is only an Excel file. Accelerator is an additional ribbon, or what's known as an Excel add-in, And Accelerator actually controls the rules. So what we try to do is we try to have the flexibility of Excel, but the financial rigor and the rules of Sage. So for example, we have to log in, as you would in Sage. It doesn't actually take up a login user or an additional Sage user, but you do have to log in, and you do have to select which company you're working for or working on. And after that, the rules are applied, and I'll go through some of the rules with you in a minute. So inside in the Accelerator ribbon at this stage now, we have 10 modules at the moment. 11 actually. Purchase orders is on the horizon, and we hope to have it released quite soon. We have modules for nominal journals, customers, stock, cash book payments, cash book receipts, purchase ledger invoices, sales ledger invoices, sales orders, suppliers price list, and suppliers. I'll go through some of those later on in greater detail. But once I click on any one of the modules, I have a further menu, and what I'm going to do in here is that there's two buttons we use quite often. One is the validate, which checks to make sure that all the information is right, and whereas you don't have to run validate, it's good practice to always run the validate before you go save to Sage. So I just click save to Sage. It says journal is saved as hold. I go back into my health journals, and I've now got this journal in here, not enough hours in the day. So posting to Sage is quite fast. It's from within Excel. It's all controlled within the Accelerator ribbon. And the next thing that I want to show is some of the rules, or enforces some of the rules that are available within Sage. So for example, if I put in a nominal code, which I know doesn't exist, and I go validate, it comes up. It actually comes up with two warnings, an error and a warning. The first warning is that this held journal already exists, and what will happen is it will process that journal, but it will not actually be process the journal that was held. But if I actually run save to Sage and show you what comes up, the title entered is already in use in health journal. Not enough hours in the day has already been sent. Do you want to process? I go yes. And it comes back and says that the account number, cost center, and department does not match. So the validation had already reported that would be a problem, and I didn't fix it. So I'll just close that down. Other validations or other rules you can put into the Accelerator is, and these are rules that are open to you. I mean, it is your decision whether you want to put a thing called lint validation, which checks the lint of the field that you're entering to make sure that it complies with the lint of the field that's available in Sage. So there are rules like that come in as well. The next thing I want to show you is how we actually integrate or browse with Sage data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and browse Sage data. So highlight the cell, I do a right click, and up on top there's a browse records. And I click on the browse records, and it opens a box that allows me to browse the Sage data. Up here on top I've got a search facility in this area, and I will just put in the top right hand corner there 311, and it finds for me all the nominal codes that have 311 anywhere in the nominal code. I select that nominal code. I can come back up here at this stage and choose another nominal code, 511. And what I'm doing is, rather than selecting just one nominal code at a time, I can select multiple nominal codes, and it'll drop them into the sheet when I get ready. One other thing that I want to highlight here is that we can actually search anywhere in this grid. So for example, I could search for accruals, ACCR, and it brings up any place that the letters ACCR either appear in the nominal name, or in this case the report category description. So what I'll do is I'll just add in unauthorized purchases. Once I click OK, the nominal codes automatically drop into the sheet for me, and I can put the values in here. Okay, the next thing I want to go through is a slight difference that there exists between what's known as a held journal and a posted journal. We actually have this journal marked as held, and Sage will allow you to post an unbalanced Sage journal, nominal journal, an unbalanced nominal journal. You cannot post an unbalanced nominal journal, but you can post an unbalanced health journal, or you can save an unbalanced health journal. I come back into my sheet, I click validate. It comes back and warns me that this is already in existence. So when I go save to Sage, now I have, there is a facility here where I can turn off this warning. So there are some parameters or options in here. So for example, there is an options page in here where I can have certain options always override health journals if title exists. If I click here and go save and close, it won't ask me in future whether I want to save the health journal, but for purposes of this demo I'm going to leave it on there. So I go save to Sage. And I've now updated this journal in the nominal ledger. A few other things that I'd like to show you in here is that this ability where we browse the data, the browse changes for each field I come to. So for example, if I browse in the tax type description, the values that are available in the tax type description comes up on the list. If I browse on the tax code, it gives me the different tax rates. UK's tax rates there, and I can choose those and drop them into the sheet. So the browse facility is very powerful. One other feature that I'd like to do while I am here is actually show you this fast entry. And if I click on fast entry and I come down here and I type in, let me just try one that would make some sense. If I type in VANK, for example, now I'll just do the accrual again. And once I tab off the field, now that fast entry is turned on, it actually opens the search box for me. ACR is a bad example. If I did ACCR, and tab off the field, it puts ACCR automatically into the search criteria and it gives me a list. The reason why we have this start fast entry and stop fast entry is that there is a slight overhead if you weren't using Accelerator where it would scan if there was a browse required. So the fast entry is not turned on as a default. I can select which nominal code I would like and I can put a value in against that nominal code. Okay, so if the health journal, if I now go to try and save that journal, what I'll do is save. Journal saves, okay. I change it from a health journal to a post journal. And when I now come in here to validate, it enforces the SAGE rules, and the SAGE rules say that you can't have an unbalanced post journal. So I have to correct my nominal ledger there before I fix it. By the way, what I have here is there are some formulas in the spreadsheet. Up here there's the sum of the debits. On this side there's the sum of the credits. And here I've just got a difference between the two. So if I put 160 in here, go to Inner Journals and go validate, it says that there's not enough hours in the day already exists. There's one more, no, that saves the stage. What I want to do first of all is, if I go back into my health journals, there's not enough hours in the day is already in here. When I bring into my accelerator and I now go to save to Sage, and I say yes, I'm happy to process it, it takes it out of the health journals and moves it into the posted journals. It gives it a journal number 39, saves it on the sheet. There are parameters that allows you to save each Excel sheet as you post. Back into my Sage, look at my health journals. Not enough hours in the day is now gone. If I go to my audit trail, and I sort by unique reference number. We'll see that we've now got the journal in here. There are the nominal codes I selected, and over here on the right hand side, or here in the middle, are the values. So that's a simple accelerator, or how Accelerate posts information into Sage, and how it works completely from within Excel. What I want to show now is just two things I'll finish off before I finish off here. I actually have a formula here for the narrative. So the narrative actually takes whatever is in the narrative heading or the title of the journal, and it adds the month at the end. So there's just a formula, and that's why the narrative goes to not enough hours in the day for the month of April. These formulas, you can decide what these formulas are, obviously, and take them through yourself. What I'd like to do now is show you what's known as the designer. And the idea of the designer is that it allows you to design your own template. So this is obviously a template, but the designer allows you to create your own template. So if I come in here and I click on designer, and what I have here is I have a list of all of the fields that are available in a nominal journal from within Sage 200. And I click to where I'd like that field to appear. Click on the journal, and I select the field that I want to add. So I want to add the narrative. Add the journal reference. Sorry, just 1 second now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the template in here, and a completely blank sheet. So I got to go into Accelerator. I got the login again because I've closed down my Microsoft Excel. Select the Sage company. Go to my designer. And I can now select which column and add the field in. One other thing that I need to show you is before we decide before we set up the designer, we need to go through particular fields we can have. For example, there's one here about the lint validation, and what that will do is it will validate the lint of the account, nominal account, for example, in the example I did earlier. If that is ticked, it won't allow you to put in more than 8 characters, which is the number of characters available in Sage 200. The other ones here, I've just turned on the Add Tooltip so as you can see how that works. I go back into my thing, I select that I want to add a narrative. Once I put in the narrative, it automatically highlights all the fields that are mandatory in 2 places. It puts them in red, and it actually drops them down here as that they're errors as well. So I'm going to put in the narrative, I'm going to put in the journal reference, I'm going to put in the health journal. What I'm now going to do is over here on the right hand side, I'm going to put in the journal date, posting options, and the posted date. And down here, I'm going to start putting in the nominal account. Now, what I'm going to do in the nominal account is I'm going to say how many rows I can have on the Excel sheet, or how many rows I'm going to have for the nominal. So I just put in 500 up there. So when I click on nominal account now, it adds 500 rows for me. With the nominal account, I click the nominal cost center, nominal department, and we just go for the debit amount and the credit amount. Okay, all the errors are gone, so there's no errors down here. There are no red fields around at the moment. So I've now made my template is now complete. So what I'll do is I'll just tidy it up a little bit. I'll drag these guys over here to the right a little bit. I'll drag these guys over here to the, to the left a little bit. And change the heading here because account reference, I should say nominal account. So it is quite flexible here. All these labels are just default labels. I can change it to whatever wording or lettering I like. And I've now defined my template. So when I come in here and I go, for example, in the title, I'll just say, not enough hours in the day. I come down to the journal type. I say that it's going to be a whole journal because it's easier to track those through. I come to the journal date, and I can browse on the journal date if I wish. So I can just pick off the date that I'd like it to be. Let's just do the 7th of May, why not? The posting options, I can leave that blank, or I can again browse. It takes the default, which is single, if I leave it blank. And the posted date will just default into today's date. If I go to my nominal accounts, I click on browse. I am now inside in my searching for my nominal account codes. Okay, this is I turned on the tooltips. Some people like tooltips, not everybody does, but it comes up and it gives you a bit of a description and the number of characters you're allowed as you're keying in the value. So I put in £90 in there. I just type in my nominal code this time rather than browsing for it. Put in 90 quid in there. Go to Sage, validate, and save to Sage. Where the designer comes in is that it allows you to decide what fields are relevant to you on your screen, and you can reduce down the number of fields that you have to put in, or the amount of data that you have to enter. Quite a lot of customers take the standard templates. We have standard templates with all our modules, but the ability to modify our design, and I'll go through certain reasons where it will be useful to modify and design as I'm going through some of the worked examples. But what I've done there, what I've done at this stage is I have quickly shown you how Accelerator posts to Sage, how it adheres to the rules as defined by Sage. It doesn't allow unknown nominal codes to be posted, and nothing will end up in your suspense account because you have got the incorrect nominal code. It'll stop it before it gets that far. It makes sure that the journal balances if those are the rules that Sage define, and it allows you to browse the data, to select from the data. It allows you to design your own screens on how you're going to work. So what I'm going to do now at this stage is I'm going to close this guy down. Well, I'm not actually. I'm going to go in here to Sage 200 and quickly show you the last nominal ledger posting that I just put in. There it is. Not enough hours on the day. Okay. I'll close that guy down. And I'm now going to go through some worked examples and areas where we can see how Accelerator can be used to save time, and using some of the features in Microsoft Excel to help you to save time. Excel and Accelerator, because they both have advantages. So I'm going to open up some templates that I've already set up for different modules. This guy here is where we have a customer of ours who would have maybe a 12-month contract, maybe a 36-month contract, and they bill every month for that contract. And what I have is I've set up a template with the bare minimum of information, to be perfectly honest, and I go into my Accelerator. I have to log in again because I closed down Excel. And what we'll do here is Whereas you can do this, and there is indeed a copy facility within Sage 200, even the copy facility won't be as fast as Excel in setting this information up, nor will it be as accurate in that you can quickly check the information and verify that you got the right information before you go too far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change the customer, and I'm going to pick a different customer. I'm going to change the date here, the 1st of June. And I'm going to change the quantity. He actually buys 3 licenses, so there's 3 licenses at £10 every month. I highlight the cells and do Control C, Control V, and it brings the cells down for me. I just changed the date here on the first guy, so I go this to July. So what we have here is we have a formula in the field in here that just takes the month that we're requested delivery date, adds 30, so that they're actually in June we're billing for July's invoice, or July's monthly invoice. In July we're billing for August monthly invoice. I highlight the top 2 rows, and I just do a quick autofill by dragging down. We do it for 3 years, 36. And I've keyed, and I've now effectively inside here my sales orders before I actually post the Sage. I go to the sales order processing, and I go to the sales order list. Inside the sales order list we have a search set up for renewals, so only products that are come through the renewals. When I go back into my Excel, I have an analysis code here, which is actually the renewals analysis code, so that if it comes from this spreadsheet it'll be set to yes, the default will be set to no, so if it comes from anywhere else it'll be set to no. And as you can see inside in Sage at the moment, we have some sales orders in there. But when I go into my sales orders and I click Save to Sage, so what we're looking at saving here, we're using the formula to make an accurate description. You know, the formula can actually say starting from the 1st of July, ending on the 31st of July. That is up to you as to how you define the formula. And we're using the, just did a quick refresh there, sorry, on the sheet. And you can see we've now got quality kitchens are in there. So we're using the autofill to copy the information down, and we're using the designer to minimize the amount of information we're putting in. So we're trying to reduce the amount of time we spend in there. So I go back into Sage, I sort by this requested delivery date, and it's very quickly processed through these orders. Now if I wanted to do the invoices, say for example up to the up to the 1st of June, I can highlight the top 4 guys, click on dispatch, go save. Depends on how many orders you have in here, but you can sort them by this requested delivery date, and that allows you to just focus in on the order that you're working on at the moment. I'll print my invoices. Because the ones are highlighted, it automatically drops these into the print invoice stage for me, so I don't have to go and select anymore. As you can see, I've highlighted them out here in the grid. I'm not sure if I made that clear. The post actually will post all invoices that are awaiting posting, not just the ones that I highlighted. When I do my refresh list, those orders are now gone off. The first order, the next order that's available is the 1st of July. Okay, so that's the sales order. That's a monthly bill for the sales order. The next one I want to show you again is to do with sales orders, and this is probably a more normal occurrence. What we're looking at doing here is we're looking at saving time to key in customers' orders. especially if you have salespeople. They may be very slow at remembering all the product codes and knowing where the product codes are. Because we're working with Excel, you can actually have the data saved in Excel with the product codes. So for example, I have different customers here, and each customer has their own product. So when I move from one customer to the other, the actual products that are on the list comes up. So I could take all the products this particular customer, Abbey Retail, has bought over the last, I don't know, 3 years or whatever, and I can add other products in as well. I could add in products that I'd like the salesperson to deal with. Once they're in the list, he just has to put in a quantity against the right product. I got a simple formula here which just calculates the total value of the order. I could make it a bit more sophisticated and have the VAT total and the total value of the order. You know, you could even go further, possibly have margins, etc. on the sheet. But it's the simplicity, I guess, is what we're looking at. So what we're looking at here is that because the data is pre-filled in the Excel sheet, and this is not just in sales orders. Another prime example of this would be where we book and purchase invoices, and each month we get invoices from similar suppliers. You can save the sheet, and a lot of our customers would have the sheet saved with the supplier's account numbers already in the sheet, and you just have to fill them out. But the theory is that when you open the Excel sheet, the data is already there, and you just change the data that's relevant to this order on this date. So what I'm going to do there is, at one post, if I don't change that date to the 20th of May, the validator will come up with an error message. Accelerator, I don't think I've logged in yet. I've just noticed the time. I'm going to speed things up a little bit. So I go to sales orders, I just go save to Sage. Go back into my Sage 200. If I change this renewals list here just to take the renewals off, because those order was not a renewal. And if I sort by order number, you'll see that this order number inside here for Abbey Retail is up on top. And those are the quantities and the orders that I put into the order. Alright, the next example I'm going to do is more a bulk example, and I'm going to finish in with a few others. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to show you some of the templates that we have available within Excelerator. So if I come down here to Excelerator templates, and we just open these few templates I have here. And on this occasion, I'm going to focus on the stock module. And what I'm going to do in the stock is I'm going to work with the search categories. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the search categories in Sage 200 stock, but the theory behind it is that product code can have what's effectively many analysis codes. So when you're searching for a stock item, you can select which analysis code you want to search on, and you can select which value in that analysis code. So for example, if I come into my stock console here, and I go to stock records, and I'll do amend, because it's anywhere else. When I click here on the right hand side, there is this magnifying glass. It allows me to come down, select the category. The category I'm going to look at is actually electrical. And the value I'm interested in is the one that's set to kitchen equipment. When I click display, you can see that there's two product codes in here at the moment. I go back into my Excelerator, and I open up my stock template. Okay, the template, there's two sheets actually in the template. One is where if you hand each individual stock record, if you've got a salesperson or somebody to fill out the stock record, they'd have to fill it out properly in the sheet and then return it to you, where you can then post it into Sage quite quickly. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to download all the stock items. So I go into my download. I add all the items. I go OK. And all my stock items come down. I'm then going to go to the data area and add a filter. I'm only interested in the product group for accessories. And as you can see over here, the category comes down, and you can see the category with the values. So they're both of them having kitchen manufacturing. And I can browse inside here and see what options I have available to me. Because the search was filled in, it didn't bring them up. So what I'm going to take the search, blank out the search, and find electrical equipment. Kitchen equipment, my apologies. Add that to my list, go OK. And rather than having to browse it many times, I can just drag it down. Back up to my accelerator, do a quick validate. And do a quick save to Sage. Five records updated. Those are my 5 records. Back into Sage 200. Click on my display, and my 5 records are now in there. Okay, the next example I'm going to show is, and this example is going to be the actual. Let me see, 35. What I'll do is I'll work through, and if there are any questions, possibly you can drop an email to us, and we will be happy to come back on it later on. Maybe we'll just leave the questions and answers alone, unless anybody has a question they want to run through with me right now. Okay, what I'll do is I'll continue working with examples. So, okay, the next example is to do with this idea that you get data from an external source, you copy it into a particular sheet, and you can check out and make some changes before you actually post it off the Sage. So for example, this one, it would be a payroll, there's a payroll journal inside here. This could be a payroll or a time clock where we get information regarding our employees, what job they're working on and what date and the number of hours. I have also set up a design inside here. I have done a template, and the template will allow me to, when I copy the information in, there's some formulas in the template that allows me to update the information almost automatically, so that when I copy the information in, I can update and do a validate, check everything's all right, correct any errors that are in there. And that allows you to it just speeds things up quite a bit. So I guess which is the principle of what we're looking at. So what I have here is I have a data sheet here with employees and their times. I summarized it using a pivot table so that there's only one line for each person and job number. And in the spreadsheet here, in the template that I've designed, we have a formula that has the March payroll and the employee's name in the narrative. And we have the transaction analysis, or the job number appears in the transaction analysis code. Again, transaction analysis is something that's available in Sage 200, and a feature I quite like myself. So when I come in here, I can just go quickly validate. And save. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to open up the other sheet. This is the sheet where we have for the month of April. The dates mightn't indicate that, but this is the next month's sheet. So I come back into my Excel. I go to the data. I paste it in. Be careful when you're pasting in data in sheets like this that it removes everything that was in the sheet before you started. I go to my pivot table. Well, before I go to my pivot table, I quickly have a look. This is the information that was in the month of March. So if I go into my pivot table, I refresh my pivot table. Yeah, sorry, I meant to show there. The balance on the journal is 11,405, both debit and credit. So when I come in here and go refresh at this stage, when I come back in here, it's 11,085. So it has changed, and it's reflecting the information that has come on the sheet on this occasion. I change this quickly to April payroll. I change the date. Okay, when I go to validate on this occasion, it actually comes up with an error, because what it has found is that there's a new analysis code that somebody has added a job and not told accounts. One feature that I didn't highlight in the validation earlier is how quickly you can go to a problem field once you've found it. So for example, it happens in line 17, and to find line 17 or to go directly to it, I just click on the arrow that's by the side of it, and it takes me directly to that actual column and see where the job number 981. But on this occasion, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add the job number into the Sage. Back into Excel, close down, in our journal, validate, the problems, in our journal, save to Sage. Quick look in Sage will prove to me that the journal is in there. In the health journals, there's actually two journals, one for March and one for April. So there's the March guy, and there's the April guy. What I'm going to, the next one which I'm going to finish up on it is actually the credit card example, and this will be one of the more popular examples that we have, and one that a lot of people use quite frequently. What we have is a credit card where we get a credit card statement down from a website. Most of the websites at the moment will allow you to log in and download the credit card statement. Once you've got the credit card statement down, you download it either as a CSV file or indeed an Excel file. Excel is becoming a standard in this at the moment, and Excel is to me is becoming almost omnipresent. There was a survey done by Sage recently where 98% of people in financial departments use Excel on a daily basis. So I'm just logged into a template. I open up my credit card. So this is the CSV file that came down from the website. I have my credit card posting here. Inside the Sage 200, I've got to set up a bank account specifically for the credit card. And I go to the transaction inquiries. And quickly, it's bank account 7 is what we're looking at. So I come down to bank account 7. There's only one transaction in bank account 7 at the moment. Back into my Excel sheet. I copy from the CSV file. I copy it into the template. The area that's highlighted here, these rows up as far as row K, that's what was copied in. All the rest here on the right hand side, these are all functions or formulas. So for example, I strip certain characters out of the reference. Once I strip those characters out of the reference, I use VLOOKUP to search for those characters to see what nominal code was related to those characters the last time. And I default in the nominal code and the back code. So I've got a VLOOKUP table here of the normal descriptions or that has come in the past, what nominal code or cost center department was related and what back code was related the last time we had an entry on that reference. So if I come in here to my cash book payments, and I can quickly go to validate. I will also turn on the fast entry there at this stage. Once I go to validate, it comes up and it says that there's a problems with 2 rows. So obviously the VLOOKUP has got, or there's new references in there. So I just click here, as I explained to you earlier, and I can quickly go to where we had the problem. Or not the problem, but where there's a reported error. Quick check inside here tells me that it is Ulster Bank, so it's bank charges. So if I come in here to my fast entry and I do bank space CH, I tab off of it. I don't have to know the nominal code. It sorts it for me where bank charges comes up, and from there I can select the bank code that the bank charges, and also fill in the VAT code. If I go Z, it finds 0 rated and it knows that it's 0 rated, or I can browse if I wish. I go to the next row that's reported a problem. There was 2, row 34, row 36. This is left service station, and that's quick search there on that. That would be fuel and add. And again, it brings up all the nominal codes that have the word fuel in them. And the S and the Z, that's to say that's an Excel function. What's actually happening is that because the row is already in the row, it will default in the value that's in there. I now go to my cash book payments. I now go to validate. There are no errors found. In practical terms, I should update my VLOOKUP table with those references so that next time when I'm doing my cash book payments, I won't have to go through that validate process, but I'll just save to Sage. Bank account, bank with transaction inquiry. I have to go to cash book 7, as that's where my credit card was. And there's the transaction inside my cash book 7 at this stage, with the reference that comes up from the spreadsheet.
So Cormac, thank you very much for that. I think what we'll do is we'll make it available online as well. So if anyone wants to come back and have a look at it, and obviously you can contact either myself or Cormac after this, and we can get together with you or your team. And once again, you can obviously watch this again online. But firstly, thank you, Cormac, for doing the demonstration for us. Thank you, Codis. And also thank you very much to everyone that actually came and joined us on this webinar today. As I said, you will get some further contact from us if you wish. And thank you once again.